Welcome to the show with no interference. Get all your NFL needs made by fans for the fans. We are your host, West Side, Big Sass, and the Bull. So here we go.
Next upcoming drafts, and hopefully still have one of the receivers available for them to throw to, but I would just try to rebuild, honestly, if I was the Seahawks.
Go full rebuild.
And I mean, you can make an argument that Tyler Lockett is more consistent than DK.
I would say so.
He maybe fit more with Russell Wilson now that he's gone. Maybe DK does have more value, but I don't know if you're rebuilding. Do you want to throw him potentially $100 million?
No, and they can, even though his stock may be down, if the Seahawks are out there obviously trying to trade him, you would think that would bring his stock down a little bit, but I would think they should be able to. Do you think they could get at least a first, or do you think that would be no way?
I think you could definitely get a first.
For Metcalf? Yeah.
And a team would pay for him. They wouldn't have issues paying because obviously receivers this offseason are getting paid. Not that he's due for pay yet, but
yeah. So you guys ready to get going?
Yep.
Alrighty. Welcome to the show. We are your hostess with the mostest. West Side, Big Sass, Young RJ the Bull. This is just a little snippet episode, and we're gonna
Monday pick me up.
Just a little treat. And we're gonna dive into these DK Metcalf rumors. And should he leave? Does anyone even want him? What's he worth? I don't know.
I would say that all 31 teams, regardless of his, as I just said, whiny baby syndrome, should want him. I don't think he takes away from an offense. And if you're a team with a young quarterback, or you're trying to build towards drafting a quarterback in the next few drafts, or maybe if you already have an established quarterback, a veteran, I don't think any player in the league would say, no, I don't want to throw to DK Metcalf.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with him is he's definitely surpassed what people had expected for him, but he's still, you could argue, still hasn't maximized his potential. He still has focus issues, has occasional drops, temper tantrums that have cost him penalties in crucial times. But at the end of the day, he's 6'3", 220-pound receiver that can take the top off of any defense in the league.
Just a freak athlete.
More than a number one receiver, let's look out for the rest of his career. Do you think he would be better suited to be that player that you've mentioned multiple times, Taylor, as a deep threat that the defense just has to plan for and that can really help an offense? Or do you think he would be better suited, molded into a number one receiver if he can?
As it stands, if I was looking at it as building a team, I think he is an amazing offensive enhancer. I would be a little nervous building my passing attack. And that's being greedy, I get it. Like, he's definitely capable of being a number one. But if I was like trying to compete, win a Super Bowl, I'd be nervous if he was my number one.
Fair enough. He doesn't have the most polished route tree, and if he didn't have the physical tools he has, he probably wouldn't be half the receiver he is. Yeah. And I don't think he could probably beat number one corners consistently. I think Tyler Lockett is a true number one receiver. Would you guys agree?
I think he can play anywhere on the field, like any position he can play.
Slot, lower tier, but number one.
I think they're both really good twos, and when you have both of them, it works.
Metcalf in the red zone is just almost unstoppable. Just bodying people out of the way, going up for the ball, catch radius, spectacular catches left and right.
He did kind of add that like Brandon Marshall quick slant in the red zone to his repertoire, which definitely. I mean, how many touchdowns did he score this year? Over 10, right?
Check stats.
It was close. If it wasn't,
Sure,
he had 12 touchdowns.
Yeah, pretty solid.
I think if he can be, I mean, it sounds like we all agree. Then if he can be an asset to your offense rather than the focal point, like a Devontae Adams type last year for the Packers, he can be successful. And with the off the field, off and on the field issues, as far as like just his personality, he would probably benefit from being behind a veteran receiver who's also more talented than him.
Well, it's just like Mike Williams. When he's healthy, let's just take health out of the way. He's a beast. He had a nice run where he was like the best receiver in the league. But I would say Keenan Allen's more valuable.
The route running.
When Herbert's in a pinch, he looks for Keenan Allen. Defenses look to take away Keenan Allen. I'm gonna make the transition. You know who he would be a perfect fit with? Michael Thomas down in New Orleans.
I was trying to think of a good place for him to end up too.
Not that, and hey, Jameis Winston, he'll definitely take the risk and he'll air it out.
Mm-hmm.
From a play standpoint, just on the field, I think I would agree because Michael Thomas is, more of a possession receiver, and if not one of the better ones in the league. But then you have like two whiny babies.
Maybe two wrongs do make it right.
They'd be fighting over who gets more slants.
Winston's going to be eating a dub, but it's really going to be Michael Thomas and DK Metcalf, and they're going to be like, "What's going on?"
It isn't real football, but remember when we had our Madden franchise and we basically made Metcalf not usable because he was just a glitch to the game.
Mm-hmm. He could hurdle over everybody. He could spin move. He could do everything. Very unfair, even for Madden.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Freak of nature. In a good way.
I stand by my belief that unless you are given a king's ransom, you hold on to your weapons. I wouldn't trade them.
From the Seahawks, yeah. But I could definitely see why it makes sense to trade them, especially if you can get like a Devontae Adams package for them.
Yeah. It all depends on what mode they're in as a team. I guess we'll see what they do on draft day. I feel like depending on where they go in the draft, we'll really tell. See if they'll get their quarterback now or wait till next year or what.
Yeah, I mean, if they want the best chance to win with Drew Lock this year, which I don't think they're going to do either way, obviously keeping Metcalf there would be the right move. But just from a team outlook and in the future, you already unloaded Russell Wilson, even though he wanted to leave. But
that was brewing for a bit.
Yeah, but I would maybe make more moves to have a brighter future in the next few years.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree.
Let's transition to the other big news in the league. The Eagles and the Saints
he's flying over there.
Made a trade today. Has it been like finalized? Like, is it for sure a thing? Like, they're not going to tomorrow morning say never mind?
It better be. I'll be going to New Orleans.
I believe so.
So, RJ, do you have the details on hand?
Yeah, so the Saints get this year the number 16 pick, number 19 pick, and the number 194. Eagles get the 18th pick, the 101st pick, with 237th pick, and then they get two future picks, one's being a first round in 23 and then a second round in 24.
I think it's
and they still have that fifth. Yeah, they still have that 15 overall we just talked about. Well, so they still have two first round picks.
Let's go to the resident Eagles fan first and see what Sasquatch.
I
thinks.
personally think it was a fantastic trade by the Eagles. I don't want to say it was a fleece job because I think the Saints, they got what they wanted. But from the Eagles' perspective, I don't think they were ever going to take 3 players in the draft. Yeah, you increase your chance of getting a star player the more draft picks you have. But historically, I don't even know how many times teams have had 3 first-round picks. But I feel like either you trade back or you trade for different draft picks in future drafts. But they had 3. It was the 15th, 16th, and 19th, which are all close together. They didn't win on the. I'm kind of going to go into the Eagles' outlook on this whole draft. I mean, this whole trade, but they didn't win on the Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson sweepstakes, which I didn't really want them to. And there's not really any draftable quarterbacks in this draft that would be an upgrade over Jalen Hurts. So essentially what it seems like they did is they positioned themselves to run with Jalen Hurts this year, still have 2 draft picks to build a team around him and just to make the team better in general. But they also got enough draft picks for next year to either 2 things could happen. Jalen Hurts could turn out to be a franchise quarterback, so now you have 2 picks to build around him for next year. Or he has a dud of a year, then they have 2 picks next year and more to trade up for a quarterback because next year's quarterback class is a lot better than this year's. Or if there's a quarterback out there that ends up being on the trade market, which I can't think of it off the top of my head, maybe they can package draft picks together to trade for a quarterback. So I just think it was a really good move by the Eagles to position themselves for this year coming up and in the future. That's my opinion on the Eagles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, very well said. Especially when it comes to the fact they have to commit to Jalen Hurts or not, and the have the draft, what's it called? The stock. They have all the picks to be able to do whatever they need to do in either way.
I think it was a good move by the Saints too, because from what I was hearing earlier is that they possibly wanted to leapfrog the Chargers, because apparently the Chargers, I mean, I think we went over it in our doctor series that the Chargers need offensive line, and that's in that range of those even though the O-line depth is good in this draft, from what I hear is that the Saints wanted to leapfrog the Chargers to maybe there's an offensive lineman or a few that they thought the Chargers could take. That's just what I heard today. So I thought that was interesting if that's what they were planning on doing.
I think this trade says more about the Saints. So I think it shows that the Saints are ready. They are prepared to compete, and they have. I think it's them showing more faith in Jameis Winston. I guess you could say they like a quarterback in this year's draft, but I don't think this trade put them in a better position to grab one. And then with the Eagles, it's kind of a really nice deal because, like Trevor said, if Jalen Hurts kills it this year, takes the next step, well, now you have 2 first-round picks next year, and you can just load this team up with talent. Or I don't want this to happen, but if Jalen Hurts is just garbage this year, well, there's a decent chance the Eagles will have 2 top 15 picks, and they can package that to get one of the better quarterbacks next year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a win-win.
Yeah, I can't imagine the Saints. I mean, I could imagine it, but I don't think they made this trade with the thought process of drafting a quarterback.
Yeah, I don't either.
The draft class just isn't that strong, and I mean, Jameis Winston was playing really well for them last year.
Mm-hmm.
Why not try to make another run at the postseason with the team you currently have built, and then if it doesn't work out, then go from there.
Yeah. This is one of the few times where I thought that it made sense for both teams. And I'm quick to be like, oh, what a boneheaded decision. And I was like, oh, I can see it from both sides. I don't have a lot of complaints towards it.
Yep.
Real quick,
Nice.
this is a completely off topic. I just got to update that the Browns are apparently trying to trade for Brandon Cooks. This is what
I see that.
this is what the report says. Cleveland is attempting to trade for Brandon Cooks, but deal
But
is
the deal's
unlikely to happen.
Yeah, from Bleacher
Why
Report.
bother saying anything then?
Yeah. Also, I mean, do they really need Brandon Cooks? Like, what are you trying to give up for him? Like, you have Amari
They don't
Cooper.
have, what are they going to trade? They already traded everything.
That's what I'm
for
saying.
Deshaun
Like,
Watson.
how can you even do it?
I think the Browns could use Brandon Cooks, but I don't think it really makes sense, or it just doesn't seem feasible.
Unless they throw in Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
But on the Texans, I'm not doing that. I'm riding with Davis Mills.
Davis Mills, yeah. Go Davis. Yeah.
Well, anything else you guys want to talk about?
No.
This little...
I think you hit it perfectly on the head with the Saints, too, because they have a team that's competitive. If Jameis doesn't go down last year, now they have 2 first-round picks. They only had 1 before, so they give up a future first, but they're trying to win now, so you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, this is a very important draft for the Eagles and Howie Roseman. He has made 2 poor draft moves in the last several years in drafting Jalen Reagor and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside over 2 other fantastic receivers. One we were just talking about, DK Metcalf. So he needs to hit on these draft picks, and I'm giving him credit, but just draft some good players.
Yeah.
There's some talent up there in that first round that should be hard to miss.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, so I think that does it for our little early week update for April 4th breaking news. Thanks for tuning in. This is No Interference with Westside, Big Sassafras, and the Bull. If you like the video, subscribe, like, share it, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Please leave a comment. We will respond to you. We want to chit chat with people. Just whatever you want. Drop something.
Share your opinions, no matter how shitty.
Adios.